I was in front of the car working on it and really couldn't do anything but get the heck out of the way. Hey guys, a little different this week. I showed you guys my Cadillac in some previous videos, and well, I was out here at my shop working on it and got it fired up and didn't realize it was in gear, and it took off on me and went through my shop. So let me show you the aftermath. I didn't get footage. I didn't have my camera going at the time, so didn't get it on footage, but we have the aftermath, and we're going to go ahead and try and pull this thing out here today and assess all the damages. So let me just show you guys what happened. So this is as it sits now. It was out there. You can see the mark from the tire. It fired up and took off, and I was in front of the car working on it and really couldn't do anything but get the heck out of the way and watch it just crash through the shop. So yeah, it's pretty much took out everything in its wake going through the shop and hit these. We have these big storage cabinets, and they were sitting against that wall, and it shoved them clear over and went through to the neighbor's shop. So this is not good. Got my fender really good on this side. That's gonna have to be beat back out or replaced. If anybody's got a 56 Cadillac fender, you know, might be in the market for getting that. But there's the doorway into our little room. We'll walk around the other side and take a look at it. I'll show you that. Alright, so here's in our doorway. This is just our little tool room, storage room. It used to be an office by the previous owner, but this was the doorway. You can see these cabinets got shoved all the way across the room and took out the door and went right through the wall. I had a set of paddle tires and stuff, shoved them clear over into the neighbor's shop. There's the heater that was in the wall right here. It's now over in his side, so we're gonna have to pull all this stuff out. And, you know, this wall's all twisted and out of place, so we got some work ahead of us, but it could have been a lot worse. I'll go very slow. Alright guys, well, you can see there, we got the car out. Let's take a little walk around. So when it fired up, it came trucking right through here, crashing through everything in its path. All my workbenches, I had my metal workbenches and stuff, and they were all sitting here. Our press, some jacks, totes with Volkswagen parts in them and everything, and you know, ladder, stuff against the wall. It's just crazy. And it just shoved everything. My Banshee's hoping it's okay, but it's pinned back here behind this metal table. Tools strewn everywhere. I had a piece of rear glass for a 50 Mercury. It's now just shattered every which direction around here, and oh man, what a mess. But it could have been a lot worse. This is the light fixture that was up there, but when it shoved the wall away, it just dropped out of the bracket up there and fell. So that's going to have to be fixed. But we were planning on doing some lighting in here anyway, but that wasn't how we wanted to do it. So anyway, yeah, so now begins the cleanup part, getting all this stuff out of here so we can assess that wall, and we get the wall back into place today. Walk out here. Here's the, so when it hit the end and finally stopped, it just sat here doing a burnout. It was you can see the mark. It kind of came in and actually kind of slid to the side after it hit everything. But yeah, it was just spinning the tires. It was so smoky in here. Boy, it just could have been so much worse. But anyway, let's walk out here. We'll take a look at the car. Yeah, so yeah, we got in the driver's side fender real bad over here up under the headlight. That's a pretty hard crease, and I'm doubtful that that can be fixable, possibly. And then it got in right here on this body line, kinked that in. That could be fixed probably, but luckily the hood was open, so it didn't get the hood. These grill slats are knocked out of place, but it looks like maybe one or two little fins are bent, but they're aluminum. You can maybe straighten that back out. The bumper doesn't look like it got wasted too bad. It did pop my T3 headlight that I was hoping to save, and it got into this fender real bad here, and obviously the bench waylaid the side of that real bad and put a nice crease in the top. I don't think that's fixable. I don't know. I guess everything's fixable with enough time, but this trim, all this trim got really wasted in it. It's not looking good for this fender and trim. The other side's a little more fixable, but even it, I don't know if it is or not. I still got tools and stuff. Everything went flying into the engine bay when it went through the workbenches, and yeah, broken fluorescent lights in there and everything. And I don't know. I'm not too worried about this thing right at this moment. There's an electrical box that was on the workbench. It went flying down in there, so yeah. You know, hindsight, could have grabbed the coil wire and pulled it off real quick, but I didn't think quick enough to do that. That I was standing about right here, and I felt it against my legs. I was leaned up against this bumper, and I felt it moving. I went, oh crap, and I moved to the right, and it was by that time started trucking. There was no way I was getting in the door and turning the key off. So looks like something hit the radiator right here, but thank God it didn't puncture that, because that would be a little tougher to replace too. Hopefully there's no damage in the bottom side of it. I don't think it got into the inner structure very much. I think the bumper saved most of that, but yeah, really wasted the fenders on it. So like I say, anybody got you know, a 56 Cadillac with some front fenders. I'm probably going to need those fenders. I don't know. We might try and straighten these and just see where we get with them. I've seen miracles worked. I mean, it's good old steel, so it has a little bit of a memory and it might come back, but this crease is pretty hard. That'll be a tough one to get out, but you never know. You never know. I see some rust in the bottom behind that trim, so that made that fender a little bit soft right there where it buckled, so that'll have to be patched. But like I say, you can see how far that fender is from the hood. Thank God the hood was open so it didn't actually get into the hood, because boy, I bet finding a hood would be a tough one too. So at least we're just down to fenders. And I had this nice BMW hood. You can see it in the background some of my videos. I was saving it for my E30. It came off of it. It was a really good straight hood. And I got a carbon fiber hood on it right now that's not the greatest, so I was keeping this just to have an extra hood, but it's yeah, it's waylaid now and no good. So that's just scrap iron. I took out this parts washer. It's just a cheapo kind of Harbor Freight one, but it worked. It was nice, you know, to have, but we'll have to get a new one of them because it ran that thing right over. So, you know, thank God that my TIG welder and my plasma cutter were out of the way. You can see all the glass on it though from that rear window shattering. Boy, that stuff went everywhere. You can see over here the piles of glass. There's glass all over on the workbench. There's glass up on the shelf up here. It blew glass everywhere when it broke. That thing just exploded. Got into my drill press a little bit. I think we might be able to, I don't know, it broke the casting, damn it. Well, shit. I do have another one over there though. We'll have to just set it up, but dang it. I was hoping I could just bend this metal back and get it back together, but the casting broke. Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. I don't think you could weld that up. That cast won't weld, so probably not going to be able to weld that up and fix it, but yeah, that's a bummer. We didn't use a lot, but every once in a while we did. So yeah, so now comes the chore of cleaning all this stuff up, digging everything out. We're going to try and get a hold of those boxes with a strap and try and slide them back out here. So I'm just going to set the camera up here and we'll get some footage of that. Oh yeah, I broke the door off of my cleaner cabinet. I don't know if I'll be able to fix it or not, but ripped it right off. But yeah, it definitely could have been so much worse, but everybody's safe and all this stuff can be fixed or replaced for the most part. Just the Cadillac parts are not so easily replaced, but we'll see what we can do. worked my butt off today. We got all the stuff moved away from the wall. This bottom cabinet was falling apart, so we ended up just piling up everything, taking everything out of the cabinet, and you can see them stacked out there. I just unstacked them all. They just stack on top of each other, so we can get the stuff out of this one and don't have to worry about it falling over on anybody. Here's the good view of the wall. It see where it used to be, and it shoved it in quite a bit into the neighbor's shop. But luckily none of the beams are broke. Pretty easy, just push it back and drive new nails back in the concrete there, and anchor it back and put some sheetrock back on the other side and button up my wood here. The door frame here on this used to be like a little office. Now we just use it for like a tool crib, keep our toolboxes in here. But the door was open and it took out the door and the frame, and you can see broke the beam on that. But we were discussing taking this office out anyway to make some more room in here. So you can see the sign. It used to be a transmission repair shop, so this was his office for customers to come in the door and whatnot. But anyway, we don't use it for that, so I don't know if we're going to fix that or just go ahead and might motivate us to go ahead and take this thing back apart and make more room in the shop for vehicles and working on stuff, as well as these, those stacked cabinets. We were wanting to clean them out and get rid of those because they just take up a lot of space. So I think we got this big long workbench over here. I got some pallet racks that I'm gonna put the pallet racks in and build a bench out of it, and then you can put stuff up on the pallet racks, like engines and things will be heavier. Get stuff up off the floor or whatever, car parts, whatever we want to put up on it. But I only need between the two beams. So there's a beam right there where that office starts and a beam there, and I got the pallet rack big enough to fit right between those. But the workbench goes all the way down here. So what I'm thinking is we might just cut it off right there, or actually in the middle. It has it's a mess right there. We've been stacking stuff up here in the mess, but there's a leg right there, and there's basically two tables, I think, two benches. So we split it in half. We might be able to use one somewhere, I don't know. Might just get rivet and just use the pallet rack. Make more room over here for some of the bigger stuff. Just trying to make it more user friendly. I just cleaned this place up Wednesday. I was going to get some content on it and show you guys how clean I got the shop, because I know my past, as you can see in the background, it's been a mess, but I had it all cleaned up, and really thankfully I did, because with this car coming through here like it did, there was toolboxes and stuff in the middle of the room. It would have wasted 2 toolboxes and several, like air compressor and some chop saws and several other things. It would have took out and created a lot more damage than it did had I not cleaned up. So thankful for that. Whatever reason, I decided to clean up the other day, and it proved to be beneficial. So we did lose some stuff here, but it could have been a heck of a lot worse. I'm safe. I was in front of the car. I could have got ran over, but thankfully got out of the way. Hindsight, we all do stupid stuff when we're working on them. And this thing, somebody swapped the motor in it before. I've inherited the car. The shifter, somebody has just put a rod down through the floor. It isn't on the column anymore. I know some people say, didn't you just see it was in park or whatever? Well, there's no indicator. It's just somebody put a rod in the floor. Yeah, let me show you here what we got. This door is all messed up now. So, I know I'm going to get all the messages and the comments and stuff, but you can see right here, this is our shifter right here. That's all it is. I can't even hardly feel that there's like, it's just sloppy. And the detents on it are, you know, this carpet's like, it doesn't even like go all the way it should. Look how far forward it's clear up by the pedal almost. So, and park probably would have been a better idea. I thought I had it in either neutral or park. You just got to kind of feel for it. Like I say, there's no indicator, so you're just shifting the rod back and forth, and I don't know the shift pattern on this transmission, so I mean, I'm assuming it's like any standard automatic, but I thought it was in neutral. We fired it up several times. It spit and sputtered and ran for a few seconds, and it never moved. It wasn't until I got fuel going to it with a fuel pump, and it ran for a few seconds, actually running good and not spitting and coughing. And once it started running good, apparently after sitting, it's been sitting since 1993. It hasn't been driven. So that long, it just took that long before the torque converter, you know, pumped enough fluid into, you know, the pump and the converter pumped enough fluid that the transmission started moving. And I felt it nudge my legs and went, oh crap. And I got out of the way and I was going to try and hit the key. I could have grabbed the coil wire, but you just don't think that quick. It all happened in a blink of an eye. And as soon as I moved out from in front of it, it kind of took off. Hopefully I'm okay. Damage is pretty minimal. Everything can be replaced. The fenders on the car took the most damage, but you know, with a little bit of work, even they're fixable. Lesson for me, you know, hopefully you guys take a lesson from it and just double check your stuff. You know, if anything, jack up the rear end if you're unsure. I should have done that. Like say, hindsight's 20/20. I should have jacked it up off the ground. That way, if it did go, it wouldn't run me over. Or set the e-brake hard. You know, it's a hand e-brake. It's hard to. I don't know if that would have stopped that big block. You know, it has a lot of torque, and I think it was in low range. I'm still sick about it. That front end was just beautiful on that car. And, yeah, it's a tough one, but it's sheet metal. Yeah, I've seen worse. So we'll get back into her here soon. I just got to recover the shop from the mess. Anyway, guys, hopefully you guys take a little lesson from my stupidity and my mistake, and this ain't gonna happen again. And like I say, we all make dumb mistakes sometimes when we're complacent. I've been working on cars a lot of years. I've never had a car run away like that. That thing has never moved or wiggled or anything, and all the times I've fired it up, it wasn't until it ran for just a little bit that, like I say, that transmission engaged and took off. So anyway, guys, hopefully the next episode's going to be a little more interesting than this. This was kind of scary, so but it's all good. You guys be safe out there. Watch out for yourselves and take a couple seconds extra to just do a little precautions. You know, if you got to have a fire extinguisher around, you know, like I say, blocking the car, anything. It seems so simple to point the finger at everybody. Well, you should have done this, should have done that. Well, I've worked on cars a lot of years, and I'd never had one run away like this. This is the first one, and it was such a freak thing that, yeah. But, well, like I say, it won't happen again. So, anyway, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Later.